Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause we're not gonna have Metro S550s cruising. Feel like you winning on the ground.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. All the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Hit us up on a voicemail line, 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. Now, we got some good stuff because, the preseason is here. We had our first preseason game for those who are my Atlanta Falcons fans. Those dirty birds with me. And, a lot of people weren't excited about what they saw, including myself. I saw some things that scared me to death a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you, but there's been a lot of things happening so far just within this week since we played our preseason game. So, obviously, the Falcons played the Denver Broncos Friday night in their first preseason matchup. They lost that matchup, but James Pierce Jr. was active, although he will not be active for the first 8 weeks of the season, suspended for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. As we all know, Penix was not cleared, so Tua was the starter in this preseason matchup. And the Falcons ended up losing 27-7. And that's where the overreactions start to begin. Literally the first play of the game. This is what we got. This what you see in the background is what you got. You got a fumbled snap, or one of the first plays of the game, the first pass of the game, I should say, on the Falcon side. You got a fumbled snap, and that resulted in this generational gift here because, a lot of Falcons fans was fed up, including myself, but this didn't really concern me. And before I go all on Tua and everything that he may have done wrong and whatever, I think the bigger impact here is the suspension from James Pierce Jr. I think this is the biggest focus that a lot of Falcons fans should pay attention to, because this is our edge rusher, a guy who led the team in sacks last year, but now we're going to miss him for half the season because he was suspended. And to me, that major concern right then and there is like, we're not going to be able to generate as much pressure as we were able to put on other teams all throughout the season last year, because Jalen Walker is already down with a huge season-ending injury. And then now we have James Pierce Jr., who's going to be out for his suspension for half the season. And now that's both of our edge rushers. So this, to me, immediately makes me think, now it all relies on the rookies. The rookies got to come out guns blazing. The rookies got to come out balling. And I mean, the rookies is our linebacker unit between Harold Parkins and Kendall Daniels, because these guys, they're good. They looked pretty good in the preseason from what I've seen. Harold Perkins got to the ball a lot from that linebacker position. And that was something where I saw it's like, okay, this can probably contribute to a lot of growth throughout the season. They could probably help throughout the season in terms of us being able to cover, being able to stick with guys and stay in that man coverage like we do so often, as we've seen in training camp and as we've seen all last season. So it was a little promising, personally, seeing that. But it's still going to bother me a little bit because there's not a replacement for James Pierce Jr. or Jalen Walker. And I know Brandon Dorlus is there on the defensive line as well, but he can't do it by himself. Like, Brandon Dorlus can't do it, but he's a dog. Don't get me wrong, but he's not going to be the one generating all these sacks by himself. So we're not going to get near that record that we had last year of breaking a franchise record in sacks with just Brandon Dorlus. That's not going to happen. The reason the Falcons were in so many games last year is because we had such a lethal pass rush, because the defense could throw multiple schemes at you. But losing both of your star edge rushers who were first-round picks, I don't know what we're going to do. Now, there's rumors saying Zadarius Smith has done some workouts with the Atlanta Falcons. This literally just came out a little before I recorded, but he was allegedly going to sign with the Cleveland Browns, and the Falcons offered him a workout. He came, he worked out with the Atlanta Falcons, and hopefully, I'm hoping Ian Cunningham cooks something up, because we could definitely use Zadarius Smith on the edge with this Atlanta Falcons defense, because right now we don't have anybody who's going to generate pressure coming from the edge. We look toast. So outside of Tua, outside of Penix getting cleared, the bigger issue for me is our precious defense that we had solid for 1 year. We had a great defense for 1 year, good pass rush for 1 year, something we ain't seen in probably 10 years if you take away last year. And now we might be back to square one of having a lot of issues defensively because we don't have our edge rushers who were a huge force on that defensive side. So hopefully the Zadarius Smith can become an Atlanta Falcon, because Harold Perkins is good, Kendall Daniels is good, but I'm not that confident that they'll be able to produce at a level we need them to produce at in order to be a lethal defense once again. So that part definitely concerns me. For sure. That's outside of the Tua talk. This is the priority for me in terms of anything. And then if you want to scale back and go to the other issues that we've seen in this preseason, which was with Tua Tagovailoa, I understand it. I understand why anybody is stressing right now. But this is what a lot of people said, man. When I remember when the Falcons first signed Tua to this very cheap deal, this vet minimum deal, there was a lot of people immediately like, oh, bye-bye, Penix. Your spot is gone. This is who y'all wanted at quarterback? Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa, this is who y'all wanted at quarterback over Michael Penix. Now those same people who were saying bye-bye Penix, we got Tua now. Tua's going to be the one that's starting. We don't need Penix. Bye. They're wishing that Penix is coming back healthy. They're praying that he gets cleared this week. Those same people. So it's crazy how the Falcons have turned like this, and this narrative have turned so quickly on Tua and then reverted back to Penix. But when Penix was healthy, the narrative turned so quickly on him and said, thank God we got Tua. Like, people got to make up your mind, man. Like, I already knew Tua was going to be this bad. Penix has been my QB1 since the offseason and since that recovery process started. Tua was, to me, a good backup plan, because it's like, all right, if Penix isn't cleared, then cool. We got somebody else who's played quarterback in the league for some time, and he can step in and maybe win us a couple ball games, which I still think he can do. I think he just had he only threw 5 passes, bro. like seriously. We over here are stressing about, Tua's so bad and he's not good. He's going to ruin the Falcons season. Bro threw 5 passes. Okay, yeah, I get it. He fumbled the first pass attempt that he was about to throw. But he threw 5 passes. That's not a good evaluation of, what this guy is going to actually do on the field. And to me, I get it. He threw all, don't quote me, but I'm almost positive all his targets was to Kyle Pitts, which is crazy. But still, Penix was always the starter for me, and Tua was always the backup plan for me. And it looks like that's exactly what we're watching play out at this time. So I'm not gonna over exaggerate. It's the preseason, man. We talking about the preseason. That's it. It's just the preseason as of right now. There's no reason to get all crazy about it. We can't really do much until Penix is cleared. And Stefanski has said multiple times that the quarterback position battle doesn't really start until Penix is cleared. But at this point, I think we know who's about to win a quarterback position battle, because I don't think the Falcons would have waited this long to name Tua the starter when he's been the only one throwing an 11v11. Penix hasn't thrown at all in 11v11. He's been practicing, but Tua's been the only one taking these first team reps. So I don't think that the staff is too worried about the competition. I think if they were going to name Tua the starter, they would have done it already. They wouldn't have waited until Penix get cleared and be like, all right, yep, Tua, now you're the starter still. No, I think deep down they want Penix to be the starter. It's his team. They seen what he could do last season when he was healthy. And that's the route that I personally just think they're going to go because of all the context clues to go along with it. Now, it's tough because one of the things I think about is Stefanski saying the offense was going to be very basic. He was going to continue to call a basic offense in this preseason game. But damn, dog, this preseason game, I know it was going to be a basic offense. He did warn us all that he wasn't going to show too much and that he doesn't like to show all of his cards in the preseason. I get that, but damn, dog, I didn't see anything. I didn't see a lick of what is to come this season in the regular season for the Falcons offense. That was like, damn, man, we ain't even get a spurt. So it is a little concerning, and it's more than just Tua. I think it's everybody on that offensive side of the ball, and now it kind of worries me on the defensive side of the ball. But again, I don't want to get over my head because it's just a preseason, and I'm not going to over-exaggerate yet. If we come out week 1 and this is how we're looking, then I'll over-exaggerate and have these crazy things of like, Penix needs to go, Tua needs to go. Then I'll start being a little dramatic about that. But it's preseason, and until I see some sort of awful play like we've seen previously, then that's when I'll get to a point where I'm like, all right, now we need to calm down. We need to figure some things out. Let's hit the drawing board and see where these guys are going. But as of now, no, man. But that first preseason game, Stefanski said he wasn't going to show us much because he don't like to play his cards, but he didn't show us nothing. All he showed us was that 6-11 is very inevitable. That's all he showed us. It looked very scary seeing that offense out there. And then, honestly, knowing James Pierce Jr. is gone for half the season, it looked very scary on the defensive side, too. But saw some promising things from Harold Perkins. Saw some promising things. That's the only hope I'm holding on to right now. Anyway, look, man, we got some more preseason updates, so don't go anywhere. We'll give you those updates on the preseason and all these team matchups that's happening very soon. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump right back into it. It's halftime. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. As I mentioned, man, we got some good preseason news that's happening for the Atlanta Falcons. So in a press conference on Monday, August 17th, today, Stefanski said he wants to accomplish a lot in Indianapolis. The starters will play in the joint practices, but they will not play in the preseason game. I'm cool with that. This is after that atrocity that we've seen against the Denver Broncos. And I mean, there was a lot of things in this press conference that he mentioned, but all of the things were along the lines of we need to clean this up, we need to clean that up. The typical things you would expect from a head coach after not looking the best. But ultimately, it left a lot of people wondering if the starters would play again in the preseason. I'm okay with this decision because I don't want the starters to be drained before week 1. I need everyone on this roster to be healthy coming into the season. At this point, it's like what team can make it out of training camp healthy? What team can make it out of preseason healthy? And I'm okay with the starters resting. I think it's needed. Outside of that, Falcons, they see the coach in the joint practice starting Wednesday, August 19th at 3 p.m. and then again on Thursday, August 20th at 3 p.m. I'm looking forward to the joint practices. Obviously, we heard Penix is going to be throwing the ball at some point, not in the 11v11 unless he's cleared. Right now, it seems like he's probably not going to get cleared at any point. However, he will be throwing the passes in the 7v7, which I'm content with. He's been doing this all training camp. And quite honestly, Penix has been looking good all training camp. And this brings me to the next point here. I want to show you guys some of the training camp passing charts that we get from those online. Shout out to Daniel Flick. He's with The Athletic, I believe it is. And, you know, he's always taking care of us, giving us some good information. So actually not the Athletic, the Atlanta Journal. So yeah, shout out to Daniel Flick. Anyway, so we have some passing charts from Tua. I think this is a good insight on what goes down in training camp. And we see Tua's passing charts. It doesn't blow you away. That's the first thing here. You know, they threw 7v7, they threw 11v11 for Tua. Obviously, he's participating in both since Penix is down, but went 7 for 12 overall. But you can kind of spot and see where these passes were happening in the middle of the field, in the right side of the field, on the left side of the field, in the middle. And ultimately, you know, 2 for 3 and 7 and 7. 5 for 9. I'm not really like jumping for joy at this, but I think it's some good insight that I want to share with those on the live stream. And then also Michael Penix from his 7v7, he went 5 for 9 as well, which is the same exact as Tua Tagovailoa. But you see, he completed multiple passes from the middle of the field, completed 4 passes to the middle of the field of his 6 attempts. On the right side, 1 for 2, and on the left side, 0 for 1. Ultimately, again, he's throwing some good passes. He's participating. It's just he's not cleared yet, so he can't actually do anything. And then the notes I have from training camp for you guys on August 13th, or I'm sorry, day 13, August 17th. This is the same Monday. a lot of things to kind of just take with you as we progress toward this joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts. This is the Falcons' final practice at home before heading to Indianapolis for that 2 days of joint practices with the Colts and a preseason game against the Colts on Saturday. That game is played on Saturday, not Sunday. Kind of weird, but hey, it is what it is. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will not play in the preseason game, as Stefanski had already said, but he's going to get reps in the joint practices per Kevin Stefanski. Quarterback Michael Penix Jr., he'll also get some 7v7 reps during the joint practices as well. Stefanski has not decided if Cooper Rush or quarterback Jack Strand will start on Saturday because Tua is not going to be playing. Penix is not going to be playing as well. Safety, Jesse Bates, he returned to practice today in a limited capacity. We got our right tackle back, Taylor. He participated in 11s for the first time this camp. Tua, I mentioned his passing rating. He was 5 for 9. He completed multiple passes to Drake London, Bijan, Zachariah Branch, which is always good to get those guys involved. In 7v7, he completed some passes to Austin Hooper and Charlie Warner. Penix was 5 for 8 in his 7s, completed multiple passes to Drake London, Jahan Dotson, Zachariah Branch, which is always good to see. And then on the defensive side here, we have Cameron Sample. He got his first reps in 11-11 since last week. And then Cameron Thomas, him and Josh Woods, they combined for a sack of Tua Tagovailoa. And, this was some of the things when I went to the training camp actually last week. This was like a similar situation that I seen where the defense was kind of dominating, and it was a lot of passes that Tua did complete or throw away or interceptions, whatever the case was. But there was a lot of pressure where he probably would have gotten sacked. And obviously, if he's going against the ones on the defensive side, this is some good pressures coming at him. This is a good mix-up. But things were very intense. Overall, I saw multiple rumors that was saying that the Falcons definitely cranked up the intensity a little bit compared to what we've seen in the preseason game. That was allegedly one of the things that was huge for this team, is that the energy was not up to par of where they wanted it to be. So hopefully the leaders on this team really cranked it up. I mean, man, because we got to do better than what we've seen in a preseason game. Like, we didn't even get a peek of what this offense may turn into. So ultimately, it is what it is. It's just a preseason, man. We're not gonna get crazy. We're not gonna act like, oh, this is something significantly insane that Tua did this and he only fumbled and threw this and whatever. The offense didn't look. No, we're not gonna do all that. It's preseason, so we're gonna take a chill pill. It matters, but it's not season defining. So let's just take a chill pill. We'll continue to evaluate, see how it goes in week 1. If we give this same type of performance, or where the energy is bad, the offense is bad, defense is looking a little rugged, then we'll evaluate and we'll talk about it. But until then, let's cool it. Let's take a chill pill and we'll decide. We'll regroup and all of that stuff. Other than that, man, look, that's all I got for you guys. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Of course, hit us up on the socials: Instagram at The Run Podcast, Facebook at The Run Podcast, YouTube The Run with Manny Wilson. Of course, if you listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Prime Podcasts, whatever you use, definitely check us out at The Run with Manny Wilson. But other than that, man, that's all we got. So we'll be back with y'all later on this week, and so on and so on and so on.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.